school board meeting of RLRS 78 for this day, June 15th. And let's begin by standing to the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah, thank you, Kayla, for moving down. I can share with you that I know Kathy Katrina. I can share with you that Kathy Katrina is not going to be here this evening. She's had a medical emergency in her family. I have not heard from other folks that are not here tonight, but we do have a quorum, so we can go forward. I do have one adjustment to the agenda. Under item 8, if you would add, excuse me, I've got a cold. Under appointments, resignations, nominations, and transfers, we are also going to be bringing to you a middle school ELA position. So you can add that to your agenda. Okay. May I have a motion for approval of the board meeting minutes for May? So moved. Okay, Karen, so moved. Second? Second. Thank you, Amber. And are there any comments, any adjustments or additions that need to be made? Having seen none then, may I have a vote? How many vote to approve the minutes? Okay, passed unanimously. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on. Public comment. Sean, do we have anybody online?
We do. We have
on Zoom?
four other folks on Google Meet.
And does anyone have a comment on Zoom?
No.
Okay. And seeing none?
Google Meet.
Here in the room, I guess we can move on. Okay, I'll start with chair comments. Given that this is the last meeting we have as a board for this year, I wanted to take just a few minutes to say a personal thank you. First of all and foremost to the entire board for the work and effort that they've put forth this past year in working with the school. And also then some particular individuals who have also gone above and beyond. I'd like to start by saying, we started the year at kind of a tough place. We had to make a decision about some decisions that weren't necessarily unanimous in the community about masking or not masking. And the board chose to go the route of masking, and as a result, we did not have to close the school at any point in time during the course of the year. We had very few children who ended up quarantining, and I think we had the closest to a normal school year as we possibly could have had during a really tough, long time period of COVID. So I think I just want to thank the board for making that choice. We also, as a board, established a couple of goal areas. We selected communication, becoming more efficient and successful with communicating with our community, with our staff. And as a result of the leadership of Chris Farmer and Joanne Taylor, who chose to be chairs of that particular goal area, as well as the hard work of Seth and Georgia and Sean Russell, I think we've got one of the best websites in the state. It's current, it's easy to navigate, it provides tremendous information for parents and others who are interested in what we're doing here. And I know, just as from comments I've had from people who don't even have children in the school, that your weekly videos, Seth, are a real hit in terms of knowing what's going on in the building on a regular basis. And that's been a big hit. Additionally, we've reinstituted media, print media. So we have an article that goes in the paper every month about our board meetings, which I think is important. Our Facebook page is great. With the effort of the central office, we now know that every email address we have for parents and we have students in the building are correct. And our Remind system works really well. We went out and we actually solicited more parents participating in Remind so they could get a text message if something important was going on in the building that they needed to know about. The curriculum group under Kathy's leadership and Amber and Joan. I think we have had a lot of excellent conversations. I think the board is going to be taking a more active role in knowing what's happening in the building in terms of curriculum. We have case study, or we have courses of study and syllabi that are now posted on the website. And we've had curricular presentations at every board meeting this year, which I think have been really informative for us. In terms of committees, Deb, I want to thank you for chairing the facilities committee. I know you've worked on the outdoor classroom flooring for the special ed trailer, and also looking at technology upgrades in the building, and that's been terrific. Kathy's done a lion's share job with policy this year, and for the first time that I can remember, and this is my third cycle on the board, our policies are actually within a 3-year review window, and that's really been a terrific accomplishment on her part. Chris, a special hurrah, big thanks to you for your leadership with the finance committee and that whole team of people, as well as the administration. Coming in at 1.39, I think that's the lowest percentile increase we've seen in many years, and that's due to your knowledge and your leadership there. And so these are just personal thank yous that I want to say, because I think you've all done a terrific job and made a big commitment to the board, and I appreciate that. The only other thing I would share with you is we have an ice cream social for the teachers on Friday. We'll be dishing up ice cream and topping at 12:30, and I hope those of you on the board who can come and be with us will do so. I know the teachers will appreciate seeing you on their last day. And with that, I'll turn it over to Georgia.
Thank you. I do have a little bit to report on tonight, so bear with me. I'll try to do this as quickly as I can. But there are some exciting things to report out. First of all, our preliminary title allocations for FY23 have been sent out for Title 1A. This year we will be awarded $46,500, which is down $1,018. Our Title 2A grant, which is our professional development grant, is $10,996. It's up $4,168 over last year. And our Title 4 grant, student support and enrichment, is staying the same at $10,000. So we will be applying for this over the next few months. I have an update for you for the Stratton Eustis students. We had 3 students come visit us, or 2 come visit us. We have 1 student already from there. We had 2 additional students come visit last week, and we also had Jeff and I also met with their transportation director and superintendent to come to some consensus about transportation. We came to an agreement on a turnaround designation, which will happen at the Batchelder residence in Langtown. Jeff is currently working with DOE to see if they will, keep that plowed out for us. They do another designation for us in Walden's Flats, so hopeful that that will happen. And the tuition rate for these 2 students for we're going by the tuition rate for this year for high school is $18,665. So we're in hopes that this is going to really start a really positive relationship in the Stratton Eustis school. My understanding is these students that are coming to us are on the younger end of siblings that are already going to SAP 58, and so there's a new sort of wave of students that we potentially consider coming this way that have multiple siblings in households. So there's some positive outlook there for that.
Georgia, I have a question.
Sure.
How many students could we have stayed here?
In our high school, probably, I had asked Seth and Heidi this earlier because we were asked this earlier in the year. with everything that was going on with SAD 58, how many we could take on. We could probably take on an additional 30 students, I think.
With the current stuff that's already in place.
Would you guys say that's a fair?
Yeah, we're at 60 right now. We can take on
We've had
30.
as many as 90.
Yeah.
We
have
may
big
have had
classrooms.
one
Yeah, I
additional
got one more day.
Yeah, we, at one time, we had a.
Yep,
science and
one more
math,
day.
Teacher that.
What?
taught both.
Yep.
To kind of handle the
Oh,
overflow.
yeah.
But, yeah, I think we could.
Can't mute.
I think
And
it's
so
good.
far, we've had 3 students that have petitioned, or have petitioned to come to the district.
We have 2 additional for next year. We currently have 1 now.
Okay, we have 2 additional, okay.
Well, that's great. I mean, this gets into the whole economy of scale. I mean, it costs us X amount to run
Right.
the high school, so every student that we can add,
Oh, yeah.
it helps us,
It creates
helps
a
us drop
partnership.
our costs per student.
Absolutely, absolutely. I will just, share with you that the conversations with Barry London, who's the super over there, have been wonderful. He's been great to work with, and I think this is gonna be a good partnership, so I'm excited about it. I met with some area school superintendents a couple Fridays ago, and we are looking at applying for what's called a COPS grant, which stands for Community Oriented Policing Services. This is a school violence prevention program. It's partnered up with the Healthy Community Coalition. There are 5 schools that will be applying for this grant. We can apply for up to $400,000. We are not obligated, at this point in time. You can show interest in it, and apply for it. And then if we decide that this isn't something we want to pursue, we don't have to. But some of the things that we would be looking at doing is coordinating with law enforcement, training for schools and law enforcement. We could be looking at hardening supplies like additional locks on doors or additional cameras or there's some discussion around an app that maybe the police department can have that can tap into our camera system here in the event of an emergency. And there's some additional technology possibly. So I will keep you posted on that as that transpires. Sean and I met with, I can't remember the name of the company the other day that we met with, that there was some initial conversation about, what we already have in our buildings and what we would need and what they could provide. Would add some, this piece that I just talked about where they could tie into, law enforcement could tie into our school and see inside our building and monitor our building and know where something's happening in the event that something happened before they even got here. So that's pretty exciting. I am also attending a school safety summit, January 21st through the 23rd. And some of the sessions that I'll be attending are trauma awareness, professional resilience, social media, youth use trends and concerns, special education awareness, emergency operations planning, fire safety, behavioral threat assessment, and emotional intelligence. So I'll let you know how that goes when at the next meeting. That's all I got.
And I know there have been a number of questions that have circulated in the community in lieu of what happened in Texas recently with the school shooting. And so it's nice to hear, Georgia, that we're on top of our school safety plan and our evacuation plan, and that we're now looking to collaborate with several other districts as well as local law enforcement so that we can be responsive to, the safety needs of our students and concerns that legitimately parents have about what happens once those kids get off the bus and are in this building. So thank you very much for that.
One thing I want to add though, and as far as that grant goes, there is a 25% obligation by the 5 schools. So, but it's proportional based on what each school would need. So, and the size of the school, and obviously these other schools that we're looking at are much bigger schools than us, so. And then looking at other grants that could cover any costs that may come our way, so.
Thank you very much. So,
I'm gonna let Angelica go because a lot of times we have overlap and I don't want to steal your thunder.
This Saturday, we had these, class of 2022, graduate. That's why, the previous student representative, Maya Liberty, is here today. We had the fun day yesterday. We did have multiple activities, like at one point there was a water slide and like a big foam machine. It was a mess, but it was very fun. Everybody enjoyed it. Today was the 8th grade graduation or promotion, and we had 3 groups today split up. That one group made fairy wands, another did some community service activities, and the other group hiked Bald Mountain. I was on the group that hiked Bald Mountain. It was very fun.
that sounds like a lot of fun. And graduation Saturday was really a wonderful event. I know many of you were there, and it was really well done. Okay. With that then,
I'll go see 4 things off my list. Thank you. We probably should meet during the day for this next year. So I could probably talk for an hour what's happened since our last meeting. It's been a whirlwind every week. We're like, oh, next week will be easier. And they're like, no, it's just a lot jammed in. So I'm just going to give, summary. We had the 6th grade release their salmon into the Sandy River. That was really cool. That was the end of May. Our 9th and 10th grade students, so Lindsay Richards, the Grasshopper Hill Farm, Toby was in an accident and they were having trouble planting. So on 2 different mornings, I think the freshmen went the first morning, then the sophomores went up and helped them. So from the pictures, it looked like they were planting, setting up fences, learning about the animals, and it was really, really cool. And the kids came back and had such a good time. Like my daughter Brooke was like, I planted spinach. I'm going to go back and watch when it's growing. So that was really, not only did we do some service, the kids, I think, learned something and got some valuable experience, and it kind of tied in with the project. We had a spring concert last week. Was that last week? Yep, and that was a big success. We wrapped up state testing at the end of the month, where our science is done and our the NUIAs are done. I'll have probably not in July, maybe some prelim data in July, but in August, some see how we did, see how we ended in the spring. Just to follow up, the new students from Stratton, that is exciting. We would have picked up a few more, but some, like George said, some of the siblings are already at Mount Abram, and they don't want to have kids at 2 different high schools. But through coaching, I've already talked to some kids, and they're like, "We're coming to Rangeley." So it will grow, and that's exciting. Not only for the financing piece, but just our student body. New kids in the building, making new friends. All our programs will have more kids available. That's really exciting, and a lot of saying goodbye. It's been kind of emotional for some people. We have, in the high school, we have Mr. Straub retiring and Heidi's leaving us. Brittany Russell at the middle school and Robin George, Doris Mitchell at 5th grade. So just a lot of, saying goodbye. So that's been good and bad, I guess. It's sad at times. Yeah, just lots of stuff, wrapping up all the projects for the high school, wrapped up. A lot of the groups, some of the groups did something, like they did their cooking contest, but some of the others just laid the groundwork for next year. Angelica's big with the gardening club that will continue next year, and they want chicken coop. We wrote grants. We don't know what we're going to get yet for chicken coop and greenhouses and gardens. So that was really exciting. And yeah, just a lot of just wrapping up the year. We crammed a lot of stuff into a month. And Sean through Facebook kept up to speed. I tried to on my Instagram and my videos. It was so busy that I missed at least a week on my video. I got to Friday. So I usually try to do it all on Friday, and there was just no, I had to prioritize. And I'm like, I just can't sit down and do the video today. But yeah, I think the kids had fun, and the fun day was awesome. Just kids having fun. There was a slip and slide and the bubbles. It was really cool. So yeah, it's been a nice end. And I think everyone's ready for tomorrow noon time to take a little break.
Except for the parents.
I had
Straight up.
one parent pulled in. We were like, "Hey, can we add a few days to school?" And I said, "You can just keep driving and not come back to the loop. You're banned from the loop." But no, it's been basically it hasn't been 1 year. It's been 2 solid years. We didn't shut off. We haven't shut off since the spring of 2020, March 2020. The summer wasn't a summer. It was packed with planning to try to go back to school. And so I think people are feeling like we're gonna like have a break and reset. So yeah, that's all I have.
Thank you, Seth. And I apologize, I just have one more thing to add. If you're not aware, tomorrow is the staff celebration, an opportunity to say goodbye to those folks who are retiring, and also a time just to celebrate the year. It's going to be from 1 to 4. The board is invited, and hopefully if you can find some time in your schedule, we'd love to have you be there too. Okay, so lots of opportunities for us to interact with staff at the end of the year, and I appreciate your participation. Let's move then to committee reports. The first item is the policy committee. As I mentioned earlier, Kathy has had a medical emergency in her family. However, the policy committee did meet this past week, and we have 2 policies up for consideration for revision, which we can talk about when it's that time on the agenda. And as I indicated, Kathy has got us at a place where we're now officially in a 3-year review of all our policies, and we're in terrific shape with respect to that. So I'll move on to Chris and the Finance Committee.
Thank you, Mary. Finance Committee, we met today and reviewed where we are year to date. Everything is tracking well. Most of you know, last week we had the budget committee meeting. We had the budget hearing. We showed up here and got through it pretty quickly. We only had about 18 voters, but everything went through without many questions. I guess that's what happens when the budget is a low increase. And I just want to say thank you to the staff, administration, fellow committee members, and the board support that we got this budget done without having 10 or 12 meetings. And that goes to the success of, I think, the staff and administration, everybody working together to get organized, look at the historical budgets, making the right decisions so we can go forward. We're seeing a struggle across the state. We saw it with the municipal budget, their part. We've seen it with other administrations. Our neighboring school district had an 8-point-something% increase in cost. Our team has worked well to be efficient with that. I think I'm just one of those people where there's always another layer of the onion to dig down, and I think this year we can take some time, and we're still coming off of COVID, which was impossible to budget for, and move in the right direction and look at where we can improve efficiencies and make sure that we're maximizing working collectively on work and cross-training those pieces so that we can run this school as efficiently as possible, both from a fiscally standpoint and from energies of staff and balancing of activities and duties and making everything work in a way that it's a really tough job market out there right now for employers. We are an employer, for lack of a better word. So it's important that I think that we work really hard to build a good, equitable, both from work and environment to work in going forward, so that everyone feels appreciated and everybody is working to the best of their abilities to move the common goals of the school and the board, and make sure we can avoid burnout and some of those other things that can happen when so much sits on so few. So I think there's a lot of opportunities. Now we've got a great administration that's we were just talking about that at the meeting, that of our senior staff folks, nobody's been in that job more than a couple years. So the first couple of years is trying to get a handle about the job, and now it's like, I think we're at a point now we can start drilling down a little bit more and taking that to the next level from administration, as well as meeting the needs of the staff and as well as with the students. So I'm excited for the next year. I'm excited that we're providing especially at the high school level, an attraction that we can have neighboring districts wanting to send their kids here. I mean, you look at a budget, we have a $5 million and $18,000 per student tuition coming in. It's gonna help. It's gonna help in a lot of ways, and I'm excited to see what we can do the next year. I did go in as a write-in, and so I'll be doing another 2 years on the board, and I'm hoping we can continue to try to improve in areas that we need to, and continue to do well in the ones that we've done. And I think Mary, you've done a great job with getting the workload distributed amongst us on the school board, and working hard to put people in places where their talents are. And I think we've got the good results this year, and we're good. I felt like in recent years this was really good board year. More better than other years. So.
And congratulations on your re-upping.
Oh, thank you. So I haven't heard officially if the budget passed, but I believe it must have. I just don't know the margin. But this was the first year where I didn't have people in my ear saying, we're spending too much money on staff, we're not doing what we should be doing, all that. I've heard very positive things. I don't think this has been an easy 2 or 3 years. In every industry across the country, we're seeing 25 to 30% turnover, and it's a crucial year for us next year. We've lost some big people this year, and there's some big shoes to fill. And I'm not necessarily convinced we're going to be able to get all those spots filled. I'm hopeful, but we're going to have different challenges this year. It might not be about masks and other things, but we're going to have some real challenges, and we've made some big investments in social services, and I'm hoping we can find some solutions to continue there. And I think that's one of the successes we've had through COVID is because we made that extra investment in social services, and I'm concerned with that. I'm hoping we can get there, and very happy where the budget's tracked this year. I think Roxanne has fit very well into that new position, and Sheila's been a great mentor with her on that, and I think it's been a good combination, and I feel that Roxanne is prepared to take on the challenges of that going forward. She's done an excellent job, and Sheila's been great with the training part. So that's enough out of me.
Okay, thanks, Chris. I appreciate that very much. Deb, Facilities Committee.
Well, we have an update on the library shelves, the middle school science lab, and the portable classroom. And I'm just going to read this because I can. To no one's surprise, the cost of library shelving has increased to an amount more than what was budgeted. Sorry, Abby. We decided to purchase a starter shelf and an add-on. Is that correct? From Demco for a price of $34.20, money from the budget, and also the ESSER grant. And please let us know when those come in so we can.
They are due, I believe, middle of November.
Oh, okay. There you go. Also, in the middle school science lab, the cost of the complete renovation was just way beyond what we could manage at this point. So decided to put that on hold until next year. The fire safe tabletops, we were looking at late September, early October, and that's just not feasible. You want all that stuff in before school begins. So that's on hold until the next school year. However, the good news is that the old carpet and subflooring in whatever shape it's in is going to come out and be replaced this summer. And also replacing or adding a sort of a water hog type mat to the outside, and that will cut down on the amount of stuff that comes and goes. And Jeff has worked long and hard to try to find the right people, the right price, and that's a go for this year. The solar panel proposal, that's on hold at recommendation of our committee for right now. There were some concerns about whether our roof can handle the weight of that, and just kind of want to back up and see what there is, and perhaps get a live in-person presentation from a company or two or three, just to see what our costs would be and whether our building can support that sort of transition. There are lots of things on the summer project list. I'm sure Jeff has got a list a mile long already. And just anxious to get started. The pavilion roof I'll save because I don't have the final roof bid in my hands. We'll save that till we get to that item. And that's about it for right now.
Thank you, Deb, very much. Appreciate that. Okay, I apologize. I should have made another adjustment to the agenda. The communications goal 1, we really have wrapped that one up. So we can move on past item 7.4. And Kathy is in charge of item 7.5. Joan, is there anything, or Amber, is there anything you want to point out at this time, or should we table it for next time?
I think we talked and Seth, you were with us. I think it was the same information that you reported before, and Seth was going to get us something, and I think we said let's wait until August.
Yeah, we're still
Oh,
working
okay,
on that.
so we'll wait until the August meeting on that. Okay, thank you very much, Amber, I appreciate that. Okay, let's move on then to item 8, which is appointments, resignations, nominations, and transfers. Georgia.
Okay, I have 3 nominations to present to you tonight. The first one is a grade 5 teacher. His name is Reed Stevens. He is a USM graduate. He graduated this May, so he's right out of school. He resides in Stratton. He comes from a family of educators. His mother is actually a science teacher over in Stratton. He has a strong love of science, but he's actually been in our building incognito in the 4th grade classroom for 3 or 4 times over the past couple of weeks, just getting to know the kids. They don't know that this is their next year's teacher, but they just think it's a business.
They're watching the board back.
But I think he's going to be a wonderful addition for them. He is like very excited and just ready to go, and so I'm recommending Reed Stevens for the grade 5 position.
Terrific. You said you had 3.
Do you want me to do all 3 of them,
Yes,
or do you want to do?
Yeah, this is just
Probably-
information only.
Right. You appoint them.
Okay,
We don't vote on
okay, all right.
information.
So the next one is a middle school, our middle school ELA position. This person's name is Simone Martin, and I'm actually gonna let Seth speak to this one.
Yep, so we get to meet Simone Monday. She also is a recent graduate from Farmington with a Bachelor of Science in Education, a minor in English Language Learners. She's from Fort Kent, and in talking to her references, reading her letters of recommendation, she focuses heavily on building relationships. She talked a lot about that. She definitely cares about the people she teaches and she works with, and she's very invested. That's one word that kept coming up, is invested in her students. She's in Fort Kent. She was down and she's back in Fort Kent, so that's why she's not here tonight. And one interesting thing, so when most kids, her student teaching, when you're at Farmington, you can say, oh, I'll just go to Spruce Mountain or something to do my student teaching. She actually went to Tooksuk Bay, Alaska. It's a population less than 600 people. It's a way out, stone's throw from Russia, like right out there. In a 7th and 8th grade dual language classroom. And that teacher just wrote an excellent recommendation for her. She really enjoyed it. So really excited we're excited to have her with us. I think, when we do this, we think a lot about not only the educational instructional piece, but also about, we're a small school, we carefully consider a fit. Who's going to fit. We have a unique team, small teams, and we really are excited about Simone. So that's Simone Martin.
And the next is a high school English position, and I believe he's here with us tonight. His name is William Pete St. John, and Seth, again, I'll let him speak.
So it's Pete, right?
Yeah.
It's Pete. So I have a lot of teams. You've done a lot. So if I mess any of this up, he can correct me. So Pete, 20 plus years as a high school English teacher, various jobs, Goodwill Hinckley, just a lot of experience there at a few different high schools. 1 year as an assistant principal and an athletic director. The last 8 years or so, he's been at the University of Maine at Farmington, and right now he's instructor of the Learning Common Coordinator. You oversee tutors, the student tutor program, correct? And he also teaches English 100. And when I called one of his references, this told me a lot. First off, he's like, "Oh, bummer," you know. I always like to hear that when you call references, like, "Oh, darn, you're leaving." But one thing he said, he's like, Pete teaches this English 100 class, and sometimes he has those kids that have like not done well for a few times, and he still like takes them and he gets them through. So that came up a lot. And you got in 2011 a fellowship award.
Yeah.
I see that. What was that called?
I forgot what it was called, but it was in grad school.
Yeah, it was. But in there, they wrote a lot about that same thing, like him really caring for his students, caring for their success, doing what it takes to get everyone basically to the finish line. So there was some good stuff about you there. He has a bachelor's in German. His major was German. His minor was English. He has a master's in German language and literature, a master's in education and writing and teaching of writing, and a certificate of advanced study in literacy. And he also has experience teaching outdoor leadership skills, and he has served as a tester at the Junior Maine Guides Camp. And we had a lot of fun interviewing Pete. He made us laugh. We think he's going to be an excellent, we think a lot about the fit for the team. We think he's going to be an excellent fit for the high school. We're excited for the kids to meet him. So, yeah. Pete, did I get it?
You got it.
All right. I tried to do some research.
Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you, I appreciate
We
it.
really appreciate you joining our team, and it sounds like you're gonna be an absolutely wonderful addition.
I'm looking forward to
Wonderful
it. Thank
addition.
you.
You coming to the party tomorrow?
I'm definitely coming to the party.
All right. Join us in celebrating. Okay, that's great. Great opportunity for you to get to know the rest of the staff.
I'm looking forward
Terrific. Okay, thank
on
you.
that note.
Yes.
Okay, I have,
Keep an eye on it.
Bye.
thank you.
Take care.
I do have one resignation. Her name is Laura Cope. She is one of our special education ed techs. She's been with us for 6 years. Her and her family are moving to Bangor, closer to their family. I think in the Lincoln area exactly. And so she's going to continue her work in education in the Howland School there. And so we wish her the best of luck.
Absolutely.
So,
Thank you, Georgia. Appreciate
Oh,
that.
what?
Oops.
can we vote on the new hires?
Oh, yeah.
Please vote to accept the.
I'm sorry, I'm not hearing what's being said.
I do think you have to make a motion to accept my nominations
Oh,
for
Yes.
hires.
thank you. So can I have a motion to accept those nominations? Joe, thank you. Second? Hey, Caleb, or Johanna, okay.
I just wanted.
Any-
Just making sure
Any
I
take-
right
I'll
next
follow
time. You know, 2 times.
Any questions or discussion? Yes, Chris?
I just wanted to say I've known Pete a long time,
Oh, really?
and I'm thrilled. Tim Stroud's a tough shoes to fill, and I think Pete's gonna bring it. I think he'll do a really great job. Very witty guy, and just he's funny.
He's hilarious.
I don't think I could have gone out and handpicked
A
anybody
better,
better.
better.
So I'm really excited. And I think it's great, we're getting a couple of new students that are coming in for those positions, and I know we saw a lot of growth in our K-5 program by having a couple of recent graduates coming in, just with some, right out there, so I think it's gonna be, a great year.
And I think it's a testament to their youth and their energy, this young man from Carabasset who's been in the buildings, just observing the group that he's gonna have
That's
as
cool.
another opportunity to booster the success that he'll have at the start of the year with these students. So it's wonderful to see that kind of energy and commitment already.
He's lifeguarding at the Carabasset pool right now, so that's why he's here.
Okay. All right, so all those that approve this motion? Unanimous, thank you. Okay. So we're moving now to item 9 and our action items, the motion to approve the compilation and declaration of votes dated June the 14th, 2020. And they were as follows on question number 1, which was the budget vote. There were 50, Dallas Plantation had 51 affirmative action votes and 10 negative. In the town of Rangeley, there were 256 affirmative votes to 74 negative votes. In Rangeley Plantation, actually it was 74 negative votes.
Oh, jeez, you scared me.
I'm sorry to bump it up another 4. Apologize for that. Rangeley Plantation, there were 27 affirmative votes to 10 negative. In Sandy River Plantation, there were 30 affirmative votes to 5 negative, which brought the totals to 364 affirmative with 99 negative.
That's awesome.
So, on question 2, which was the warrant and notice of election of the regional unit budget again, Dallas Plantation 49 affirmative, 14 negative. Rangeley 236 affirmative, 94 negative. Rangeley Plantation 31 affirmative, 9 negative. Sandy River 24 affirmative, 7 negative. So a total of 340 affirmative to 124 negative. So we have to sign this. Yes, Chris?
Can we look at the wording of that question next year? Because I don't think people understand. If you vote no, it means we don't have to have the hearing.
Right.
And I think people keep voting yes because they think nobody comes to the hearings. They still aren't coming to the hearings.
I agree with you, I think that.
I don't think people understand. I think they're voting yes because they said, oh, the way it reads, you have to really read it to understand that which way to vote if you want that. So I really, if we can make a note for that, because I think most people
I didn't
don't really
understand
care.
it. Right.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was saying.
Yeah, so most people voted yes because they're like, oh, well, it's the same, whatever. But if we had voted no overwhelmingly, then we wouldn't have to have this whole extra meeting in those pieces. That it would just be the school board would present, the budget would get voted on here, and then it would go to vote.
I don't think we look at this for another 3 years though, right? I think this is every 3 years is when this
Yeah,
comes up.
yeah. I brought it up 3 years ago.
I don't know who writes
Bring it
it.
up at the budget hearing, Chris.
Yeah, I don't know who writes that.
A lot
Is it the-
right?
I'm gonna pass this around for everybody on the school board to sign. I will start with my signature and I will pass it down to Johanna and then it can come back around this way.
Do we have to sign multiple copies or just one?
Just this one.
Really?
You said pass it to Johanna, don't I sign it?
On the way back.
Oh, wait.
I thought we had to sign multiple copies and we all had to
Well,
sign
he's
the
trying
same
to,
file.
That's all I was given.
That's all we were given, so.
Certified vote. I thought we had to sign a copy for every town to have it.
That's what I meant, is it by town?
Maybe they'll do
Maybe, yeah, or we'll make photocopies. I'm not sure, but that's all.
I remember one year we didn't do this, so we had to come back and do it a week later, so. I'm just trying to
Well,
avoid-
I don't know, that was what I was given by central office.
Why are all those lines? What's on the next page?
Well,
Oh, that's the previous.
Oh, that's what it is.
sign it and then we'll double check to make sure. Hopefully we don't have to come back.
No, I think you're signing.
As long as you,
Mary.
yeah, as long as, if we end up signing multiple, you have to sign the same spot, right?
I am gonna step away. I'm going to go to our new business, which we've met with Mr.
Yes.
Charles ago, and start unpacking boxes, so. Yeah, so my shot's there, so I need to go do that.
Okay.
See you.
So all those in favor of approving the declaration of votes? Unanimous, thank you very much. Okay, I've already signed it. Okay. Now we have a 9.2, a motion to approve the pavilion roof bid.
What's the
I
total?
don't have the bid.
Jeff, let's see my.
So I guess
6,600 from
you
A1.
will have to table that.
No.
No need to take it.
We can't table it.
6,600?
from A1.
Say that again, Jeff.
It was $6,600 from A1.
Okay,
A1 construction.
That's the only bid we got, right?
Right.
that's the single bid. May I have a motion to
So
approve that,
moved.
and then we'll discuss it. Chris, second? Joe? Okay. Comments or questions?
A lot of work was done on this in facilities. Jeff spent a ton of time in. I trust his judgment on this, and we went out to bid. The fact we can get anyone to do it is hallelujah.
And it's a complicated process.
It's a complicated
because of the way
roof
the beams
structure and
run, is my
everything.
understanding, right?
So Jeff, do you concur with that?
Yes, it is.
And it's a good contract.
You want us to go forward with that?
I move.
Well, we already have done that. Any other questions or comments? Okay, all those that approve the pavilion roof bid? Okay, done unanimously. Okay, motion to revise 2 policies. Let's begin with JICK, which is our policy on bullying. If you look at, in your packet, you'll notice that the revisions that have been made to this policy are in yellow. And this is language that's been added, and it is language that's been added predicated on the recommendation of MSMA, which we always do a comparison between our policies, what MSMA currently has on the books in terms of where we align and where we may need to add some language. So we are adding a section under Maine law that says, and this is new Maine law, sexual orientation means a person's actual or perceived heterosexuality, bisexuality, homosexuality, or gender identification or expression. It goes on the next page to say gender identity means gender-related identity, appearance, mannerisms, or other gender-related characteristics of an individual, regardless of the individual's assigned sex at birth. And that language was recommended by MSMA because it's new in Maine state law. It doesn't currently exist in our policy. May I have a motion to adopt policy number JICK with that additional language? Can I have a second? Okay. And any questions, comments, or
The lawyer said we need that.
we do by law, we need to add it?
The only comment I would add is a thank you to whoever does this and puts the changes in yellow because it makes it a lot
Oh, yeah.
easier.
Oh, yeah.
That's much more
Hallelujah.
clear. So thank you to Kim for that.
Kimmy.
Yeah, and this is predicated on Chris's continuous statements that we needed to do that so that the board could see what's really going on with these policies, because we have so many and we really want you to be cognizant of what they are.
I appreciate that
It's being done. Yes, absolutely. Okay, the next policy then
it's.
is JICIA, which is weapons, violence, and school safety.
Yeah,
A
you
very,
didn't vote on that.
oh, I'm sorry. Oh,
Yeah,
all those
sorry.
in favor, I apologize. All those in favor of adopting that policy? Thank you. Okay, now moving on to JICIA, which is weapons, violence, and school safety. May I have a motion to accept this policy? Okay, a second, Giovanna? Okay, then I'd like to point out to you what the changes are, Chris, and then as soon as I'm done with that, you can jump right in. There, again, this is a comparison between MSMA's current policy and where we are lacking some language in our existing policy. And the recommendation was to add a section 2 under H that would be exceptions to prohibitions on possession and discharge of firearms on school property. A, the prohibition on the possession and discharge of firearms on school property does not apply to law enforcement officers because Chief French does wear a gun when he's in the building. In addition, down below that under disciplinary action, you'll notice where the superintendent is required to do this on a case-by-case basis, but put that in writing. That language is not currently in there. On the third page, you'll notice that under psychological evaluations and risk assessment, we're only adding language that says so that this does not become a roadblock for any family in participating in that risk assessment evaluation. All such evaluations shall be performed at the school unit's expense. So we can require students to participate in that, and we pick up the cost of doing that. And at last, we added 3 additional legal references, which we didn't currently have on the policy that MSMA does have. Chris, you had a comment or question?
I did, I disagree with the placement of where this is. One, I go back to the old rules of back when Kate Mills was my English teacher.
Okay, when you
Governor
say
Mills' mom
placement, what do you
is
mean?
that you cannot start it, you do not have an outline form where you only have one thing. It goes 2 and then it goes A.
Oh, okay.
And to me, why wouldn't we just put it under A and add it onto A? Because A talks about firearms, all that stuff. Why wouldn't we move the prohibition, the exception
Okay,
under that 1A rather than all of that? It just, to me, that doesn't make sense.
okay.
I mean, unless you want to eliminate the A and just say exceptions, prohibition there, and then just get rid of the capital A and just say the prohibition of firearms.
Yeah.
Because to me, I've always been taught that you don't do it in an outline form unless
And
it's
then
2
have
things.
just a single
I don't
item.
know, Joan, you may,
No, I agree with
you agree with me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll just move what is 2 and A back up under A that speaks directly to possession and use of, is that what you're talking about, Chris?
Well, if you want to keep it simple, we could just strike the capital A and keep it as an
Oh.
exception. and
Oh,
leave it.
okay, I see what you're saying.
You just can't have an A if there's only one.
Gotcha, okay, we'll add it then as a sentence added on to that, okay.
No, just pick up the letter A. That's it.
Gotcha, that's what I'm saying, yeah, that it just becomes part of that H. Okay. 2,
And really, it should be the indentation seems right too.
yeah,
That's
okay.
fine. I'm not gonna.
So I'll have them check the indentation. Okay, thank you for that noticing that. Any other comments or questions about this policy?
I move to approve as amended.
Okay, second? Okay, all those in favor? Perfect, okay, thank you. Moving on then. We are now going to participate in 3 executive sessions, and I see where there's nothing added on here about
The first one is, it's personnel compensation.
personnel compensation, okay. So we will adjourn to the executive session room, if you will, please.
We have to do a motion.
Oh, I would somebody please make a motion?
I move that we go.
Thank you, Joe.
1
Second.
MRSA 20, you gotta read this.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I'm just a stickler about doing it.
They all look like the same number to me, but on one MFSA, then the 4056A.
Yes. A second?
So moved.
All those in favor? Okay, thank you. Chris, would you be so kind as to make a motion?
Sure.
As a result. First, we're back in session.
Yeah, make a motion before you're back in session.
We're back in session. All
Okay.
those in favor? Okay.
Everybody make a motion that we agree to modify paragraph 7 of the student service administrative contract to pay out 30 days per year.
Second to that motion.
I think this.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, Heidi, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We got one more?
Yeah, we have one more here. I need a motion for us to move into executive session. So move.
Well, I got good at it.
Yeah, go
Oh,
ahead.
Go ahead, Kelly, you got it.
At this point.
I move that we go into executive session for one MRSA section 4056A.
And this is dealing with the superintendent's evaluation and contractual compensation package. May I have a second to that?
Second.
All those in favor? Okay. We'll break in a minute. Okay.
And I will go on mute.
I need a motion at this point to accept George's evaluation
So moved.
as written. Thank you. Second. Any discussion? All those in favor? One additional housekeeping task, we have agreed to meet again next Tuesday evening, which will be June the 21st, supposedly the first day of summer, at 6 o'clock for an executive session on George's contract.
You know, I'm supposed to be at summit conference, that's ready summit, until the 21st.
What time are you getting back?
I'm there until the 23rd.
That's not gonna work out right.
No, it's not.
Well, let me ask you this, can we meet on Monday the 20th?
It's a federal holiday.
Okay, can we, can we meet on Tuesday the 28th? Tuesday the 28th. That work for people?
What's the
Yes.
closest day you're back, Georgia?
I will return on the 23rd.
Morning or
Which is a
afternoon?
Thursday.
I will return in the afternoon.
Either the 23rd, you wanna push it to the 28th? I know Thursday nights are tough for you though, right?
Thursday, yeah, that's,
Is Tuesday night typically?
it's only just about, it's not gonna be a long.
Tuesday night I have water district, but I'm
It's not
free
gonna
up.
be a-
It's gonna be a quick meeting. at
It'll
6
be
o'clock.
very quick, it'll be 10 minutes, Matt, 15 minutes.
I don't even know what
The
day.
28th.
28th.
The
Tuesday,
28th at 6 o'clock. I'll send out a note to all the board members because we have quite a few people who are absent. So 6 o'clock,
28, one item.
yes,
item.
one item.
Are you doing it 6 o'clock because that's our normal time, or could it be a different time?
Well, it could be it could be earlier if you want it
Better for
earlier.
people?
It can't be, I have a
mean,
board meeting at
Everybody's
5.
working.
Okay,
so
so we better leave it at
Gotta leave it at
6.
6.
It'll take us 15 minutes max. Sean, just a point of clarification, was there anybody on the board, members of the board that were on Zoom tonight?
No.
Okay, I will send out a notification to all the board members.
No, the only ones that were on the Google Meet were Catherine Emillard, Bridget Morton, the 1.5 away.
Okay.
It was a while ago now. They all signed off.
Yeah.
I got tired.
Don't forget about staff funsies and ice cream social on Friday. I hope we see you there. Can I have a motion for adjournment? A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sean.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Abby.
Yes, thank you.